G'day, punters. Welcome back to another preview show for the mailbag. This week, we're looking at four races, two up in Sydney, the two Group 1s, two down here on God's carpet in Sandown. Before we get into it, it's just Jack and myself again this week. How's your week been, mate?
Outstanding. 2.5 games of golf. Shot 80 with Heath Kelly of punting form fame and won the comp there at Curl Lewis on Wednesday. So full credit to me. But then I shot 90 yesterday, so back to reality.
Jesus.
Really took advantage of the abandoned Ballarat meeting, James, and got myself out there inspired by John Rahm and the Masters. But we've got another big fat card of racing at Randwick on Saturday. It's basically day 3 of the championships, I think.
Yep.
And hopefully we see him well at Sandown because we're shooting pretty straight. There's not a lot of fat in these prices, but I just think it's pretty simple.
And don't forget, we've got the inaugural running of the Quokka over there in Pistols territory.
What a quack up that was, James.
It's
actually a pretty intelligent mistake to make. It's a good mistake to make because we're talking about a race that I don't even know about.
Yep. Agreed. All righty, before we get stuck into the races, we'll talk a little Bloodstock as we always do. Up on the screen now, you'll see the Savabeel by Rehab Filly that we've currently got a couple of shares left available with Gavin Bedgegood. Tell the punters out there a little bit about this filly, Jack.
By Savabeel, who is comfortably the king of sires.
Airborne.
I've no doubt about that. Beautiful cross. That's proven. She's in work today. The videos just come through. She will hopefully get to the trials this preparation, and then who knows? We sort of take our horses week by week with Gav. He just lets them tell him how much more they want to do. But we're hopeful of getting her to the races this prep. She's a 3/4 sister to Brambles, who won a Group 1 Queensland Derby and was very good in the Caulfield Cup. So the pedigree's there. On type, she's there. If you want to come out and have a look at her with me, we could organise that too, actually, because it's just over the road from me.
Yep.
I'll be happy to do that. We went out there that one time, James. Remember, we went the wrong way in the V-Dub and fucking almost
down that dirt road to Gav's house. Jesus.
Yeah,
I've still got a bad back from it.
Yeah, the car's still not right, but anyway, we bounce on, and exciting filly, and I think that's all we've got available now. There might be one share left in the Nakoni filly with Simon Zara. Nature strip on the page. Simon really likes her, but there might not be a share. I'm not sure. If you're interested and want to find out, Jono, Jono at themailbag.com.au. And I believe Lazy Susan's sold out, but there might be one share there too. So if you're interested, again, Jono, Jono at themailbag.com.au. Really nice video of Lazy Susan this morning. She looks really, really nice, like a really, really nice type of horse. Going to have a lot of fun with her. She will win a maiden wherever she goes.
Absolutely. She's right in the wheelhouse, and it was good to see a couple of shares sold after the preview show from last week. So
God bless you all.
Appreciate you all getting on board, but I am in that Savabeel filly. If Jack does take you out there, you will fall in love and buy a share. So take him up on that.
Be careful. Kind of like if you're coming out, expect that you want to buy.
Absolutely. Let's move in to the races this weekend. As I said off the top, we'll preview the two big Group 1s up at Randwick, and then we've handpicked a couple at Sandown for you to go through as well. We'll get stuck into Randwick. Weather, track again, Jack. Any thoughts early on how it's going to play?
Well, the mail is inside suited, on pace suited, but it's also Randwick, day 3 of a 10 race card. So I wouldn't overreact to anything. I just sort of play it as it comes. Adjust on the run. They're saying soft 7 at the moment.
Yep.
I don't know. It's hard enough finding a winner, let alone predicting what the weather's going to do anywhere. Sydney's a little bit easier to predict, I'd say, Jim, than
You just
Melbourne.
It's going to rain at this time of the year, don't you?
But who knows? Who knows?
All righty, let's get stuck in. So the first of the Group 1s is the Champagne Stakes over 1,600 metres, race 7. You'll see the field up on your screen now. Or as always, odds brought to you by baggybet.com. Number 1, Don Corleone, 380. Militarize, $2.15. Impressive last start winner in the slop. Tom Kitten was good from the back last week. He's $10. And you'll see a couple there that we're taking on, Tannhauser and PR Pressure, $23.13. Speed map, talk to me.
Where have I got that? Yeah, no speed maps on the screen this episode, but I've got them anyway. Bases loaded, Townsend forward, Kintyre probably forward. Militarized, not sure. Tom Kitten, not sure. That they're drawing whitish, but not awful, and they might roll forward depending on how this track's racing. The rest sort of make up the guts of it at the back there. Don Corleone from 1. Very, very interesting setup. Yeah. J-Mac on replaces Hugh Bowman. That's a tick. It's a positive tick. There's a few ways to look at this horse. A little bit like the Pies, James. Promised everything at the start of the season. Looked like it was pretty much all over when he came out and absolutely gapped them there at Randwick on debut. Then they went to Brisbane and got pumped by the Lions, who are they any good? This is sort of where this horse is at, very much like the Pies. I think he's probably still premiership favourite, and we're overreacting to the last start of Militarised, but I don't really want to lay Militarised at the same time. Look, I'm going to stick... No, it's barrier 10, horse number 1. So I think he has to go forward.
Yep.
I'm going to stick with him, but I'm not going to lay Militarised like our prices suggest. I'm going to cuddle it. I'm worried where Tom Kitten gets to and run because it was so good running on, which I don't think will be as easy to do on Saturday. So if I had to pick one of those 3 that are half in the market, obviously it's not as much in the market as the other 2. It's probably the one I'd want to lay out of those 2. If you're just looking for a bet, I'd have something Don Corleone. I think this horse is way above average. It's got a sustained base of good numbers, and it's got the best rider on.
There you go. No opinions from me. I didn't mind Tom Kitten. I thought it was huge last start, stepping up 200. But yeah, that map's a little tricky. So I mean, you've got to race 7. If you can see that they are running on, that double figure price, Tom Kitten's worth a couple of shekels.
It certainly got through the line like this trip's no worries.
Yeah. Now we'll move on to race 8, the Group 1 all-age stakes. Up on the field, up on your screen there. Sorry, you'll see the field. Very interesting runner, number 1, Zaki, after sort of whatever happened to him early on in the prep, going out for a spell. $6.50. You can see there we're going to take him on. Number 2, Lost and Running, $16. But we've got our pretty heavy, strong favourite in Giga Kick off 2 big runs this campaign. Jack, the speed map, what's it doing here?
Well, I think this Ho-Oh Amazon rolls forward. Luckily, we haven't raced at Canterbury for 4 months, so this thing can run, and that thing ran last week, 2 horses. Unbelievable behaviour. It and Zaki, Electric Girl to speed. Bandits Natural go forward. Colding sit thereabouts from 5. Marzu, Lost and Running. They were drawn awkwardly. Marzu had the PR in the TJ Smith. Yeah. It won't get it here. What does it do from that draw? And Lost and Running had an awful map and barrier then, and it has the same thing now. They're the grey ups because they're both capable of winning this race, but they're a bit tricky. Rockin' Horse is a bomb-proof conveyance, James, and is going to get a suck run from barrier 1. Private Eye, the sheets hated, but I've had to just manhandle them into a bit of more respect for this horse because I think 400 metres is right up his alley. I think he's way above average. If you go back a little bit, he's the second coming of Jesus. Let's not forget that when we're betting. He's a very, very good horse in a very astute yard, and the gun rides. So I'm not going to lay Private Eye, that's for sure. And Jacquinot from 4, does he sit closer? That's the grey up. Wet ground, a concern for this horse. We saw him let down like an absolute freak at Rosehill. That was on a good track out wide. I'm going to lay Jacquinot and I'm going to lay Zaki. I hate Zaki's prep. It makes no sense to me at all. He's a 1,600 metre to 2,000 metre horse. This is as good a 400 metre race as you'll ever see. Therefore, I'm going to lay those 2. Petrified of Cascadian, and just if this thing wins, the Sheik needs to double, which God knows how much that would be, what James Cummings is on per year. Because last week, I wanted to back this horse in a 2,000 metre race, and this weekend, 7 days later, it's in a 400 metre race and looks like it's relatively good chance of running a big race and maybe winning. But I think the race basically revolves around Giga Kick. There's 2 knocks, and there's only 2 knocks. It's the map, and it's Craig, unrace fit Craig.
Yep.
I don't really want to take on an unfit Craig, who's racing's greatest human being, and has missed all the carnival, and you can just imagine how hungry he is for cash.
Yeah.
Like, as hungry as jockeys get for cash. This is prize money. This is Willow. They're the only 2 knocks. He was absolutely enormous in the TJ Smith.
Huge.
He said, I want 400 meters. I want every bit of it. This won't be as brutally run as that race was. I'm going to back him. I'm going to cuddle him. We're going to lay off everything that comes for him to a price. We are going to be heavily with Giga Kick. I think.
Speaking of price, what do you think happens to that price? Because I mean, I think he did open 280 at 320. I mean, is that just because of the barrier? Are we going to see that price get bigger? Or?
I think that's the barrier. I think he'll go closer to 3 than 4 Saturday morning. Might touch 2, and then the big sort of factor will be how much rain has his track cop. But then he got through the slop of TJ Smith like a machine, so no one's going to knock that, I don't think. And it'll just come down to how's his track racing. If they're not running on from back and wide, he might drift and he might start with a 4 in front of him, but he still might be too good. He was soft in the TJ Smith at the death and hammered home. The market didn't really have a hold on him, and I think they'll be cautious to go against him here because of that. I just think he's very, very hard to beat and very hard to I just wouldn't be taking him on.
Yeah, and like you said, I think there's a couple of holes in the market with Zaki at sort of that $6.50.
Zaki might start $10 here.
Oh, he can only drift in my eye. He can only drift. Like you said, Marzu got every single little thing in favour last start and still couldn't get the job done.
Marzu James will drift and will start double figures. So Marzu started $7 last start versus Giga Kick here. Had complete PR. Yeah. And it's not going to get that here.
Yeah.
It'll drift. Lost and Running will slightly drift. Private Eye won't drift.
Yeah, no.
So they'll read on the market. So Giga Kick and Private Eye, they'll keep really tight, and they've got to take on something, and it'll be Zaki, the Marzus. We're not going to lay Marzu heavy because I think he's a really good horse, and he could overcome that draw. But that's where the hole in the market is. I think the hole is also Electric Girl. Like, it shouldn't be near the same price as Rockin' Horse. Rockin' Horse is a Group 1 performed horse, and it's not. And I think it's one thing to think Giga Kick can overcome a back and wide run in outstanding form versus Jacquinot, who's coming back from a mile, an awkward preparation to overcome that's going to be different. That'll be a hole in the market. It'll start double figures too. If you like Jacquinot, I'll be waiting.
Yeah, on the same page. I think Giga Kick for me, but I'm also pretty keen on Private Eye. That one by sort of 3 as well. You're getting $3 the place for Private Eye. And yes, I think he is the one that probably firms a little with a few question marks on some of those shorter in the market. Any other final words for the 2 Group 1s at Randwick?
There's a major announcement that'll be made on next week's show, but we might have a new sponsor. Have to run it by the legal team, but
is that some breaking news on the SMS?
Yeah, hydration stuff.
Oh
yeah.
All righty, so they're the 2 Group 1s up at Randwick. That's all we'll be previewing up there. Let's have a look at a couple down south on God's carpet at Sandown. We're going to be taking a look at 2 races on Saturday. The first of those is the 2,400-metre listed 3-year-old race, the Galilee Final, race 4 on your card. Up on the screen now, we've got number 1, Northern Barrage, $2.10. We'll take on Midnight Glow at baggybet.com, $6 best price anywhere. Night Sun, $7.50. Kentucky Nick and Highland Hill, as you can see there, we will be taking on as well. Speed map over the 2,400 metres here, Jack.
Speed map, Jimmy Boy, Kentucky Nick, Highland Hill, some speed, Night Sun, who I think you're going with and I'm against thereabouts. Midnight Glow can go forward. I think Northern Barrage will go back from 9 with Bengal Boy, Roaring Engine, and Canetti will be thereabouts. I think just worse than midfield. Foretelling has a decision to make from 7. Look, I'm just not going to overthink this at all. There's a big case to be made for Northern Barrage. He was outstanding, I thought, last start behind Promises Kept, from way worse than midfield in an on-pace dominated race. He started $7 there versus Night Sun 51, Midnight Glow 11, longer the rest. Kentucky Nick started $13 if you like it. Some case there. He's just the easiest, simplest operation of all time here, because James, the track history at this rail position suggests to me this is one of the fairest lakeside rails there is. So I have absolutely no problem, which I normally never do, as you know very well, of backing horses that are going to be back and wide.
Yeah.
So my mum called me and she said, "Is that El Patronesi in race 1? That thing you've been backing in Group 1?" I said, "Yeah, it is, Dor. We're on." Because it's going to get backwards to midfield and steam home, and it's okay on Saturday. Same story, Northern Barrage. Could go forward, but doesn't have to. Mick D goes on for Stackhouse. Don't mind that at all. Really, really like this horse. I think it's there to win, and I'll be with it. It was enormous last start. It was also held up when it couldn't win where it was.
Yeah, it definitely was held up. But the one I like that you did say that you're not too keen on Night Sun, I think he was held up the same as Northern Barrage. Northern Barrage then got to the outside with some clean air. Night Sun got sort of held up, lost a bit of momentum, had to poke his head through, and was still sort of coming on the line. For my note, I do like the ones that you're taking on. I honestly think it's a 2-horse race.
Yeah.
You could play this as, big bet Northern Barrage, saving Night Sun, making sure you're winning on Night Sun.
Do a Rob Scurry-inspired duet.
Yes.
The mailbag.com.au, Eyes on Ponies. Rob will be there all day long at Randwick. He's ready to hit. He's about to unleash a big set. I can feel it in my bones. But it's a positive here. Heffel off. Frog on.
Yes.
Big tick, especially for a young stayer. Get the maximum out of it. Look, I just had to take them on because I just don't want to take on a real short price favourite, so I have to find some percentage. You know what I mean? It's certainly one of the ones we're taking on that I'm the most nervous about. Pretty much just off that jockey switch and not being suited and going from barrier, staying like a nice inside barrier. So like he can just jump and get a really nice spot here and go to sleep. That does concern me. I think, for the first half of the straight, you might sort of get off your feet, off your ass off the couch and onto your feet. And I'll be sitting there like pulling tails. But I think in the end of the day, the barrage will come over the top. But we'll see.
Well, there we have it. Jack, pretty keen Northern Barrage, and I'm happy to play Night Sun each way. And let's move on to our last race that we're going to preview today, and that is the Bovis Sires Guinea, Sandown Race 5 over 1,600. You've got to mark it up here on screen. We'll be taking on number 1, 2, and 3, King's Consort, $6.50, Bel Air, $7, Russian Dancer, $9. We've got the big baldy-faced Toronado Terrier at $5 in the market.
The little breeder. He loves his Toronados, punters.
And a pretty heavy favourite in running by at $2.20. Is the map throwing us up any surprises here?
More money, please, leads, I think. Russian Dancer there about Toronto Terrier, gun run from 2. But is the inside off by now? We don't know. We've got to wait and see. Brazen Lady sort of, I think, will tag Toronto Terrier. Bel Air can get a nice spot. La Ferrari has to make a decision. Running by will be just worse than midfield, I think. She's a Tempest, King's Consort, and Ramingius will be the last couple. There's a horse here that I'm scared of, but I think the inside will be off by now. And it's up to Jai. Jai inside draws.
Yep.
Loves them. Does a great job from them. It's got the Bel Air form where it started 270, right? Toronto Terrier was beaten by Bel Air and Russian Dancer, who started $4 and $4.40. So the market told you almost had double the chance of winning that race than those two did. Now we're reacting to what happened in that race. I'm going back to that SP and respecting Toronto Terrier massively here. It goes from barrier 8 to barrier 2. Big tick normally.
Yeah.
Pretty stiff to find this rail position, and I think maybe inside off. but no knock the horse at all, and I think it can win. The horse that I think is a very, very good bet here is the favourite, the 9, Running By, Ben Allen Sticks. First up, this horse started $8.50 behind Benedetta, who started $3.50 behind What You Need, who was going to be favourite in the Arrowfield Sprint last week. That's how good that form is. Like, this is elite form. This is proper form. The start later, it went and was not suited, well worse than midfield, hooned home, race fastest last 200, race fastest last 100. Just an outstanding piece of work at Bendigo behind Waltz On By, who I think is a group filly. I think this horse is capable of much better than the race it contests on Saturday, and this will be a stepping stone to a group race. Running By will be very, very hard to beat. With this rail position, wherever they get, it'll get out and it'll be getting home. If Toronto Terrier gets an absolute John McNeil peach on the lakeside, might be hard to catch, but I think Running By will get past it and be winning.
Yeah, look, and it has been backed Running By since markets opened. I think I'm of the same opinion. Just like the previous race at Sandown, I think it's probably just a 2-horse race in my eyes. I have backed Running By already. Not sure what the price does to Toronto Terrier, but he gets a couple of big ticks for me. Jai, like you mentioned, he was 1,200 to 1,600, and now staying at the 1,600 for the second run in. 3 wide the trip there at the Valley. Probably had no right to stick on like he did. He even looked the winner with 100 to go and just got swamped late on the line for 4th. Just not sure what he does with the price. I really think the market probably does come for Running By. So I'm just holding my horses a little on Toronto Terrier. But I'll be playing the race. Running By, big bet, but definitely won't be losing on the race on Toronto Terrier.
Yeah, but we're going to lay Russian Dancer and Bel Air, which are both scary horses in their own right. So it's good fun, and hopefully we're right. But if you want to go against us, you do you.
That's it. If you do want to go against us, jump on to the baggybet.com app, sign up, and take us on with a couple that we're top odds in the market.
Chances are, though, you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
Well said. Make sure the gambling is fun. Any other thoughts on looks a nice card at Sandown, actually.
Yeah, I did my best in lays, I think. Yeah, I did.
Yeah. I've got them up here.
Thanks to Dada. What a woman. Race 1, the 2, El Patroness. Next best, race 4, the 1, Northern Barrage. And my value is a 3-leg all-up, James. It's a bit sick, but I love it.
We love this stuff.
Those 2 plus Running By, I just think they're better than the horses they come up against by a fair way, and I'll win. And I'm going to have a little cheeky all-up, which is way outside of my normal behaviour, but why not? I'm going to lay race 2, the 1, Magamia, race 4, the 2, Midnight Glow, and race 8, number 7, Milton Park at Randwick Gym. My best, race 1, the 1, Osipenko for the captain, Guy Mulcaster, and Uncle Chris Waller. I think this horse is very, very good. I think Pericles is vulnerable, and I'll get to that later on. My next best, race 8, the 12, Giga Kick. I just think he's better than these. I think he's the horse on that upward spiral, and I want to be with him. The value comes up race 5, the 10, Key Largo. Laying race 8, the 1, Zaki, race 1, the 3, Pericles, and race 8, the 11, Jacquino. Take us through your best value and your bit of a flair.
Yes, well, if the punters out there did follow my flair last week, I was a bit flat and disappointed.
The Leandrin is actually quite flary too, by the way. A little bit of greenery, got the open fire.
Yeah.
It's dominating.
Yes, well, a tissue did get up for us last week in the Flair file at $14. Not just get up; it was a stress-free watch, which was good.
It was the best on ground performance from you last week. Full credit to you. 3 votes.
I was a bit down and out after Cleveland, so a tissue definitely picked me back up. But let's not look behind. Let's look forward to this weekend. My best comes up Randwick race 3. That's number 5, Floating.
Where's this from?
No, this is just for me. This thing's a moral. Will not lose in the midway. It's won a midway over 1,600. Handles all ground. James McDonald on board, $2.40. Bet responsibly as always. The value, I touched on it earlier, is Night Sun. I think, there's a few ways you can play the race, but for those 1x3 punters out there, Night Sun is great each way value. And my flair and I love my NRL betting, and my largest bet of the year is overs in the 6 o'clock game tonight. So you can build a little bank for your races tomorrow. But that's over 42.5 in the Sharks v Chooks.
The wettest hair in Sydney, Nico Hines, and Tedesco's back.
Tedesco's back. There should be points galore. I've taken 40.5, but I've also taken some alternatives over 58, 60, sort of those kind of numbers as well for a big payday. Any other thoughts for the weekend, Jack?
Oh, Carlton, where are they at? That season over stuff last night. I mean, that was a disgraceful performance. They didn't show up till quarter time.
Well, and then, no, it was impressive from Adelaide. Probably more on the flip side is, our Adelaide top 8 material. Geez, they got some good young kids, a good, exciting footy to watch. Like, I enjoyed.
They got a little bit of Magpies flair about them, the way they just sort of take the game on, don't they? Full credit, Matty Nicks.
Yeah, they do. And it was probably the first time a lot of us sort of Victorians got to see the Crows on prime time footy. So it was good to see a couple of their young kids, and half their backline I'd never even heard of. And they did reasonably well against the Twin Towers in Mackay and Curnow. So, no, big round of footy. Your Swans. I know there was a bit of ranting last weekend.
Our whole backline, our spine's out of a backline.
Jeez, if Tom Lynch was playing tonight, he could have had one of the all-time fills.
Yeah, but I think the boys. I thought Chad Warner last week was unbelievable. Ollie Florent was just like an elastic band off the backline. Like if Ollie Florent or Errol Goulden touches it, we almost guaranteed a set shot.
Yeah.
I love watching them play. I love the way they're going about. I thought they were pretty stiff last week. A couple of poor old Dane Rampy. You can't get in a forward's way. You got to let him go for a mark. Apparently, honestly, what a G up, absolute G up. Anyway, we're favourites. That's all. I just sort of look at the market when I get nervous. We're favourites, so we should win.
All righty,
Pats can just maintain this high level of output. What an operator.
As always, we'd like to thank our sponsors. All the data Jack has spoken to you about today, brought to you by puntingform.com.au and baggybet.com. Download the app and have a bet today. Any final thoughts?
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
Hopefully you can find a few winners on the weekend, punters. Goodbye for now.
Bye for now. Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.